We have special guests for this segment from the Multicultural Resource Center here in Erie. We're welcoming Sahana Rajaya, the Sectional Manager for Diversity Training, and Nathan Coble, the King of Marketing, here to help us celebrate International Day of Tolerance. Good morning and welcome to both of you.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
I think you would agree at the Multicultural Resource Center, you are definitely the hub in Erie of making sure that we help our community and help educate our community on diversity and tolerance.
No doubt about it. Really, we're one of the agencies that connects Erie with the rest of the world. Every day we have people coming from 5 continents to better themselves through our various educational and social programs and our diversity training program as well. We also have many volunteers and employees from around the world who come. So it's very exciting on our little campus on East 10th Street to have kind of a mini United Nations and have that all come together here in Erie.
And, I think it's important for people to realize the importance of diversity in general. You do training out in the public, Sahana. What is it that you try to make sure and impart?
I guess one of the biggest things to remember is that people who are coming here are just like everyone else. Sometimes when people in a city have been used to seeing certain types of backgrounds, it's very difficult for them to welcome newcomers. But having lived all over the United States, I find Erie to be a very open community, and people just need to take a step and realize that the newcomers are coming to create a life for themselves, to work hard, to contribute to the society here, and they just want to function here and have lives that they were not able to have where they came from. So for people in Erie, the best thing they can do is help the newcomers feel welcome. And one of the ways they can do that is try to educate themselves about the different communities. And that's what our diversity training program offers. We do a variety of different courses, basic introductory stuff that everyone can follow, and then more specifically to get to know the different communities. We have a whole section in our catalog that's courses just based on the different communities. So getting to know the Bhutanese community, the Somali community, the Middle Eastern community, which would include the Iraqis and the Syrians, getting to know the East Europeans, that would be the Russians and the Bosnians, Ukrainians. We're also expecting people from the Congo to come. So I'm developing a new course for getting to know the Congolese. And there's also one on the Burmese. The Burmese Karen are coming as well. So we have a variety of different courses if people are interested in getting to know specific things about cultural background, sort of the socio-political history of why people are coming here in the first place, cultural traditions, parenting issues, healthcare concerns. All the different groups have slightly different ways of looking at things. So the best way for us to understand them is to learn about them.
And I know, Sahana, that you're living in Erie now, but not originally from Erie. You're getting to know Erie very well.
Oh, yes. I mean, this is my second time in Erie. I used to live here between 97 and 2000, and I can honestly say that now, 15 years later, Erie is a different city. Not only has it grown in terms of what it has, but also the population demographics have changed so much. And Erie is very safe and stable, and a lot of people like to come here to settle. And we have a lot of secondary migration in Erie as well. But no, I mean, I've lived all over the place. I grew up in Russia and Egypt and Canada and Brazil. So I have a perspective on international sort of relationships. And I do believe that Erie is becoming a very multicultural city and can very much, I wouldn't say boast, but really is there with the bigger cities. If you're in downtown Erie, most likely you are going to run into someone who is a newcomer and not born here.
Absolutely. Nathan, you are from Erie.
That's right.
And so we know that in this area,
Yes.
we have many other cultures that came here just like the ones that Sahana just mentioned. Our grand and great-grandparents, they were all newcomers as well and hard to get used to each other. And now we have to remind each other to welcome with open arms other cultures.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're right. I'm from Erie. I'm very proud to be from Erie. And just look around you. So much of our home was built by immigrants, and we can be very proud of what they've done. And I think something that Sahana and I and our colleagues really cherish at the Multicultural Center is if you have any kind of nostalgia for that time period, we see it kind of in its origin every single day. The people who are coming here, their enthusiasm and the energy that they bring for Erie. So many people perhaps since the financial crisis in 2008, have kind of been starting to write the obituary for the American dream. But we have clients who are coming from Darfur and many other places, and they have that look in their eyes that they're going to make their life better and make Erie a better place. So it's really quite inspiring every day to go to work and work with these people.
And these are not people that come to our country and specifically to our city looking for a handout. They're here to work together, and they're used to being hardworking, right?
Absolutely. And they're also extremely grateful. I mean, most of them are fleeing very, very difficult situations. So they are very grateful to be here in a safe environment, and they actively want to get on their feet as soon as possible. They do not believe in being on social assistance for very long, so they want to get on their feet as fast as they possibly can. They want to work hard. They want to contribute to society, and a lot of them are achieving their American dream. They're buying homes. They're starting businesses. Usually when we talk to principals of different schools within Erie District, even outside, the principals are telling us how well these kids are doing in school, and they're so motivated. It really is wonderful to see.
Yeah, and I would just add, I teach English classes in the morning, and many of my students, they work perhaps in a factory all night, then they come into English classes for 2.5, maybe sometimes 5 hours. Nothing's going to stop them. And as I mentioned earlier, Brenda, I served in the Peace Corps on Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. And you just see so many people who have no excuses. They're going full steam ahead to make their life better. And one thing that's inspiring about it is we look at our excuses, the things that are holding us back, and they look pretty trivial in comparison. So our hats are off to these people who work so hard.
And I think that some of the challenges that we face are some of the people that come here from countries that we have heard about, sadly, on a not great light in the news. I think when we had a lot of people coming that were immigrating way back in the day, we didn't have all the internet, of course. We didn't have instant news about things. And it doesn't mean that because some of the people in that country are doing things that we absolutely do not agree with, it doesn't mean that everybody from that country is cut from that same cloth. And I think that's something else to remind folks, to give people a chance.
Absolutely. Every individual comes with their own set of values, their own dreams and ambitions. And really, as I said earlier, if we just take the time to get to know them, we'll realize they really aren't very different from us. And they do want the same things out of life that we do. They want peace and stability for their families. And as you said, when we hear negative things on the news, we should never assume that everyone from a certain ethnic group thinks the same way or feels the same way, because they're as diverse in their thinking within their group as we are within the larger American
Sure,
fabric.
where do you work? Where do you go to church? Talk to some people about some things. You'll both have different ideas. So especially with the holidays coming in, of course, many different cultures celebrate differently. But really, if you can, maybe as a New Year's resolution, think about learning a little bit more about another country and get involved. You use volunteers to help welcome people to our community and help make that transition a little easier.
Yeah, I would say if you're interested in learning about other cultures, learning about international affairs, making Erie a better place, the Multicultural Community Resource Center is a place you should definitely look at. You'll make a lot of friends. You'll learn a lot every single day. So please look us up.
And in the meantime, if your business or your school, your class would like to have some diversity training, Sahana does that. She goes out into the community.
Yes. With the diversity training, we go literally anywhere within the greater area that would like to have some sort of education about diversity, whether it's human services agencies, whether it's mental health agencies, the school districts, businesses, anywhere that is interested, whether it's to learn more about other communities or even to promote diversity in their workplace and the hiring practices. We would be glad to come out and talk with people and do our workshops.
And I would add a business case to that. You know, if you run a business, certainly your market has changed a lot in the last 10, 20 years. You know, we can very much help you reach out to that market and better understand and relate to them.
And because you have to keep things going at the Multicultural Center, there is a nominal charge.
That's right. Diversity training, language interpretation, translation, and some immigration services are fee-for-service programs at MCRC, even though MCRC is a not-for-profit agency. And certainly the fees that we collect for these types of trainings and also for the other services I just mentioned go back into the agency to help serve our clients and to help our services grow also.
Okay, wonderful. And if you would like to get involved, there are programs when we've spoken with Joanna Cherpak, your executive director in the past, that you can just sort of come in and chat with someone, just have that conversation. You can be of assistance sort of as a mentor for a family.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You can come in and we'll find a place for you. And what I would say, too, not only mentoring, it's very transactional. When you come in and you meet with our clients, you'll find you're not just helping them, but you'll take an awful lot from the experience, too, that will help make your life a more interesting place. I know when I wake up in the morning, because of my own experience overseas and at the Multicultural Center, the world's a much more interesting place than perhaps it was several years ago.
I just wanted to mention also there are many different avenues for volunteering. So people may feel like, oh, well, I don't have a lot of experience working with international people. That's really not a primary qualification to be a volunteer. All you need is to have time to give and an interest, and you will find that you do have skills that you can contribute, whether it's helping with the ESL classes, whether it's helping with life skill classes, or just being a friend to someone. You do have skills that you can contribute to help someone here.
Wonderful. Well, we thank you both very much for taking the time to come in, and hopefully everyone will at least look it up online to get themselves started. You have a website.
MCRCErie.org.
MCRC Erie for Multicultural Resource Center Erie, or Google it. And I thank you both very much for coming in. Sahana Rajaya, the section manager for diversity training, and Nathan Coble, thank you so much for your time. We'd also like to thank our first guest from the Epilepsy Foundation, Peggy Beam Jelly, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week at this same time on North Coast View.